and welcome back to the channel for another video. So in today's video I'm going to be creating a pirate themed dock down here on Dazzle Beach. This is the part that has like the little dock on it on the bigger side, and I decided to actually put all my stools down here. I actually don't end up having space for one of them because the symmetry was off, but for the most part pretty much all the stalls that we have in game are down here. And I also have Eric's ship down here, which was a premium shop house skin, and I just basically procrastinated and not created the stock area. And then when we got the pirate and mermaid themed star path, I decided it was finally time to use some of the newer pirate items that we got, which allowed me to create a more expansive pirate theme in here. So let's get started. So as you can see, to start off with, I've obviously placed the different stalls down here. Now, as I said, I don't end up having room for all of them because there is 5, which bothered my brain. So I actually end up, you'll see in a second, moving Tiana's one out. I decided I'll put this by her actual restaurant, but the other stalls that we have in game are going to obviously stay here. And as you can see, I did my usual thing of putting out all the furniture I thought I was going to use, which, as you can see, is a huge amount. There was so much stuff I actually ended up feeling like would work down here, both pirate items and also other furniture items that kind of fit with the dock theme and the beach theme itself. So there was a lot that I could use. There was a lot of craftable stuff as well, so if you're worried about not having enough, there was definitely a lot of craftable things that worked down here. But I obviously then went ahead, as I said, and moved all the stalls, got them rearranged into the design I wanted to, and then started mapping in some of the kind of other stalls I wanted to use. Some of them are craftable and some of them were from Scrooge's, and then also started mapping in the pathway to kind of get this dock station set up first. Once I got the docks obviously set up and kind of in the order I wanted to, I then added in a little bit of foliage just around the back of some of the stalls and also around the pathway. These do get tweaked and changed as time goes on because I didn't want it to be too overgrown, because I quite like having the sandy look of the beach and not kind of overfilling it too much with foliage as I tend to do in other builds. But I did add some just to kind of add a little bit of more colour to it and make it look a little bit more lively. And then I started adding some of the kind of final furniture objects into the stalls, and on the stalls I also added in the little Lilo and Stitch market stalls just because I felt like they worked in here, and also just added some smaller bits and a lot of craftable items such as barrels and crates, because obviously these go very well not only with the market theme but also with the pirate theme. Something I did want to include in this, which you'll have if you have the Eternity Isle DLC, is Gaston's shipwreck. We obviously get this in the desert in Eternity Isle, and I've always liked including it in a pirate theme, but obviously it's kind of hard to fit in anyway because it's so massive, but it actually fit quite well in this space that I had before the bridge, and I added a load of pirate treasure around it, as well as obviously adding in my pathway just so I knew where I was going. I added in some barrels, some of the pirate treasure from the previous Halloween star path a couple of years ago, and also obviously the new pirate slash mermaid themed one we had not long ago. So I started adding those in around the shipwreck to blend it in, make it really look like all this treasure had kind of washed up here with the shipwreck. Obviously it is a little bit annoying because the sand is a different color, but I feel like I did my best to blend furniture around it so it didn't distract me too much, just because I did want to include it with the theme. On the other side of the docks, I decided to use one of the Eternity Owl craftable tents to just create this kind of like pirate docking station. I wanted it to kind of feel like in here that this is where the pirates have stopped off and set up camp. I have done pirate builds before where I've included like tents and things like that and made it look a lot more like they kind of live here. I didn't have as much room as I wanted to do that, so I decided to add in this tent which has like the map table and also a little cooking stove and things like that to make it really feel like this is where they kind of have stopped off and just set up camp for the night. You could definitely expand this and add some tents and obviously make this a bit bigger. I feel like that would really work well. I just personally didn't have enough room for it, but that was what I kind of started mapping in, and then I started adding in some palm trees and some other foliage behind the stalls, as well as the rest of the build that I'd done to kind of give it a frame around the edge. To wrap up the build, I looked at the final furniture pieces I had left and actually realised that I'd missed kind of a couple of the ones I knew I wanted to add, including the lost and found like little treasure building that we got from the premium shop. So I did put this in on the opposite side because I had space next to the pathway. I also had a couple more piratey items that I definitely wanted to include that were from the star path. There's quite a lot of tables that came in that star path, as well as piratey tables in general, so I did want to include as many as I could, but obviously didn't want to overwhelm it. But I feel like adding that with the combination of a bunch of barrels and crates and things like that blended it in well, and obviously meant I could bulk out things furniture wise. Obviously if you are on a lower item limit, you definitely don't need this many barrels and crates and things like that. I just personally felt like it fit the pirate theme, but that's what I did to kind of wrap everything up, and then added in the last bits of foliage into both sides of the build, making sure that I had kind of the slightly overgrown look I was going for, but obviously didn't want to cover too much of the natural sand as well. So here is the final build. As you can see, I've made it sunset because it is the best part of the day to be able to show off a build. And as you can see, as we go straight in from the other side of Dazzle Beach, we have got all of our treasure. I added a couple of gems onto some crates to give it that natural kind of like look of having some just resources around. And obviously the treasure on one side. We've then got the lost and found hut with a lot of crates and barrels around, and also just a little sign pointing us into the pirate area. Obviously the rest of my Dazzle Beach isn't built, so this will kind of add on to it once I get to that. We've then got our little crafting table and the chair, as well as a lot of more barrels, crates, and also the foliage to kind of make this area look a little bit more shipwrecked and a little bit more overgrown. And then we obviously have our dock area, and obviously as well our tent that's got all of the items in. So I added in some potions into here as well to kind of make it look like their treasures are in here, and a lot of the mining lanterns I added around as well to give it that more rustic feel. And then as we head into the docks, we've obviously got our ship right at the end to kind of be our main focus point. We've then got our different stores, the ones that you actually can use in game, so like Kristoff's, Goofy's, Mulan, and also Aladdin's. So there was different ones I could use, and then obviously the manual ones that I made as well, and obviously the lighting to kind of close it all together. So here are some shots of the final build. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I'm usually not a huge fan of a pirate theme, I have to be honest. I have done pirate themed areas in the past, but I've kind of kept them in Eternity Isle, or made them quite small. But for this dock area, I felt like it was a good opportunity to use a lot of the new pirate stuff we had. I'd obviously done a little mermaid island, which you can kind of see in the background. And I wanted to kind of just include a piratey theme in with the dock theme that I knew I was going to go for anyway, and I'm actually quite happy with how it turned out. I feel like it'll probably stay like this for a while, but let me know down below what you think and what you have done in this particular section of your Dazzle Beach. If you have any other kind of like tips or recommendation for what to do on my Dazzle Beach. I'm a little bit stuck because I feel like there's so much I want to do down here, but just not enough room. And I know we have the Dazzle Beach Island that I can use, but I'm trying to pick and choose what can go on the actual beach. So if you have anything in particular you want to see, do let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe if you did enjoy the video and you want to see more from me, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!